Hey everybody, it's Cindy Bishop with Cindy Bishop Worldwide, and today we're going to talk about event planning. And you will see that I love events. It's tier one communication, so it's right up there with talking to somebody eyeball to eyeball, having them call you on the phone. There's nothing better in your marketing than doing everything you can in tier one communication marketing, because tier two would be sending out emails. Those kinds of things are limited on their effectiveness. So events are simply wonderful and they are super important. So, but they're flexible too, and they can increase your brand awareness as well as connecting with your consumers face to face and getting that valuable time with them. Events should be really at the top of your business plan. It should be a top priority, since they're going to help you fill up your sales funnel, and not just fill it up, but they're going to fill it up with qualified leads. And that's what you want. You know, just having people hanging around, unless they're giving you referrals, is not as valuable as actually having people want to work with you because they see your value, and they also build this relationship with you where they trust you. That is how we are different from those that are struggling versus those that are successful. So if you're going to run events primarily for lead generation, which of course that's going to be a consideration, you may be working with a charity or whatever, but that is your definitely in there as important for lead generation, then it's going to be important to understand that events should cause attendees to trust you. I mentioned that before, that trust factor. That's what separates the appointments from you being the only one there versus they're interviewing 5 people. So trust can be accomplished by providing value in being the presenter of a quality topic. If you're not presenting, just having an excellent speaker is going to make you look good. And you being an excellent event organizer and running the event before their very eyes is going to leave them with a tremendous impression of 3 things. The first thing is how structured and organized that event was. That's impressive to them. They correlate that to you running successfully their purchase or the sale of their property. Number 2 is the quality of the instruction is going to make you look good regardless of who's doing it. And number 3, how each of the attendees felt about the event. And later we're going to talk about having a feedback or a survey sheet. Events are tier 1, top shelf communication. And if you read any books on communication, they're going to tell you that. So you might want to actually do that. So you start implementing some of these great basic skills. All right, so if you're going to fill your pipeline with leads from events, then you need to take a few extra steps. The first one is have a specific understanding of the types of people who should be at the event to get the most benefit out of it. If they have a great experience because it was what they needed, not what you thought they needed, but what they actually needed, then you have an improved chance for sure of attracting them into your pipeline. It's also a really great idea to pre-qualify event signups using the custom question features. I like Eventbrite for people getting consumers. I think it's a cost-effective way to keep a registration system and being professional in that way. And you can actually create custom questions and make sure that depending on your topic, you ask them why they signed up. It's going to make the presentation a lot better, so you can make it much more fruitful for them. And those custom questions are going to give you just a really good understanding, based on those leading questions that you ask, of what their expectations are really going to be. What are the challenges that they're facing relating to the topic? What do they want to know? So you can make sure it's fruitful and a good presentation for them. Communicate with registrants. Okay, if you're gonna make these events effective, you got to communicate with them, because you don't want them just to sign up. You want them to show up, and they're going to forget. I guarantee it, they're going to forget. So the conversion rate of signups versus show ups is depressing. So you've got to make sure you communicate. If I'm doing a webinar, I'm going to send out 2 or 3 or 4 reminders the 48 hours before the webinar on purpose, because it helps the attendance tremendously. But keeping in touch with them is going to keep that event you're having in the top of their mind. And that's how you're going to get the best registration. Now, you don't want to get stuck in a narrow mindset about events. From creating your very own custom event to tagging along on someone else's, events come in all shapes and sizes, and there's just no right and wrong. And you can create what you want as long as it's geared for the attendees to make sure their learning benefit and their total enjoyment is right. So you're probably thinking right now, oh, I'm going to have a first-time homebuyer class. Forget that. Throw it out. Instead, if that's what you want to do as far as the topic goes, have a workshop instead. Invite first-time buyers that need specialists to talk to because they're wondering about the tax benefits and they're wondering about how to make sure they don't get a bum house. So that would be a home inspector, a CPA. And that way they're available. They speak very little, but they're available to ask questions, even if you had a panel and these folks could ask whatever questions they wanted to. So you want to think out of the box a little bit. What's going to really get them there? What's going to be really eventful for them? All right, one super important thing is you can't do this alone. You cannot. You must have a team. So having events can also be kind of costly, but gathering that team at the start of your event planning, or having them forever. I've had some of my team members for literally 9 years. So, but having them is optimal to the success of your event. Having support partners, they help pay for events, they bring refreshments, they'll do handouts for you. It's all valuable. They're also in your culture. So they add to your reputation, not take away from it if you have the right team members. You know, they give you a lot of benefit if you plan the event properly with exposure to the attendees for them and even to the other team participants, because they all kind of become a network. Sometimes your team takes on dual roles, and that's actually pretty often, not just sometimes. Any of your team can be a topic presenter, a source for event donation if you need money to pull it off, or even sometimes they have great locations for you. A lot of times you'll have team members that are in an office building and they'll have you have to make a reservation for it, but you'll have these training locations or event locations right in the building, sometimes even the penthouse. So your team can also serve as an additional source of getting attendees there. They can advertise to their list, they can advertise to your list. It's all valuable because it's coming from other places. So you may be blocked and be thrown into somebody's spam, but they in fact may not be, or they may be willing to make calls. So you want to really take advantage of your team, and you want to make sure that your team is happy, that they're getting what they need to make this worthwhile to them. All right, now back to the top 5 things that we want to talk about today. The first is always about educating your audience. You want to showcase your expertise or the expertise of someone you trust to be educating your audience. If your goal is to educate, then there are many ways to do this, believe me, from small conferences, exhibitions, breakfast sessions, roundtables, or even combining a standard classroom educational event with a fundraiser for a worthy cause. Maybe somebody you've heard wants to build a new area dog park, or maybe a church is trying to raise money to put on a new roof. They're all great ideas. There's, as long as they're legal and ethical, obviously. And you want to use this type of objective because you get so many more people in front of you. Educating an audience can be very straightforward even. You could even have it in your office in a conference room. You could have it in a library. Just make sure that any facility you use is equipped with installed AV equipment, and you're not bringing in a rinky-dink power projector that may or may not work with your laptop. I mean, I tell you, that ruins the whole event. You might as well not even have it. Only use places that at least have a TV screen. Make sure you carry around an HDMI table so you can connect it to your laptop. And when you do that, always make sure, especially if you're not presenting, make sure that the presenter also brings their laptop, and make sure that you know the configuration of their laptop so they have an HDMI connection so you can connect it to, say, the TV. Know what's going on in your place of presentation long before you get there so you're prepared, okay? Because that can ruin all the efforts, every bit of the efforts that you made, okay? So make sure you are prepared. Now, if you're afraid to be the instructor or the speaker, and many of you are, start by utilizing others. Just start that way. They're going to make you look wonderful. However, if you have something truly of value to share, you know, it's more about the preparation and the ability to be an expert than being a stage performer. Just get up there and share. You're going to find you're going to do very well. The audience is going to be very receptive. You just want to make sure you really know your topic, because then it's just going to flow into being a discussion, and you're going to find it was a lot easier. And if you make those strides and steps, you're going to find that your business is going to do better, because it's going to help you in other ways than getting up and sharing educational information with people. It's going to make you better in confidence, in communication, and you're going to grow. If you don't do it and you know you have something great to share, your business is probably not going to grow either. It kind of all goes hand in hand. All right. So tagging onto another event, what an awesome thing to do. I mentioned that before. You gain access to more attendees. Now, one of my favorite examples is harvest festivals. One agent that we've coached and has done an unbelievably good job with getting a tremendous following. She already had a good following, but it's done nothing but improve it. You know, when you're at, for example, a harvest festival, there's tons of other attendees that won't be in your tent, but we'll see all this fun and camaraderie your group is having, and they're going to check it out. They're going to see what's going on. People are inherently nosy, and then they're going to remember your name. So invite everyone in your database. Don't henpeck it. You know, national conversion rates are just 2%. So you need to invite everyone. You can get sponsors to help you pay for this stuff. So just don't worry about the money. Worry about the attendance. You want literally as many people as possible to show up, because it's all about name recognition. It's all about associating you with a happy time, fun, and people are really burdened and stressed. So this is a really good thing. The more people, the more fun. Plus, it's like this. The more popular you are, the more likely they are going to use your services again and again. Everybody wants to be around the life of the party. So remember to do videos and include your event in things like both before and after. Facebook events for advertising purposes, then put it on Facebook, do a live Facebook video at the event, get all this stuff rolling, get your team members involved, put it on social media, send out emails, let everybody know what's coming and let everybody know what they missed. Also, you should give them the ability to register. I'm a big fan of Eventbrite for this purpose. It will provide the kind of service for you to easily get and at a low cost. And you'll be able to get them to sign up. It's going to make you look more professional. It's going to give you contact information for them that you may not have had, depending on the way you set up your registration portal. You will get a link for Eventbrite that will where you can put it anywhere. You can put it in your Facebook events. You can send it out on email. So it's important that you do that, and don't just have them send you for heaven's sakes, an email saying they're coming, because Eventbrite, that kind of system will allow you to send them reminders, and that's what you really want to be able to do. But using other events to bring people in, the 4th of July fireworks. Hey, I'm going to be over at the Botanical Gardens. Come on down. We're going to watch the fireworks. We'll be there at 8. You know, that didn't even cost you anything. They may not even come. In fact, most people won't. But it's the message that you sent. It's what you did to reach out and open up your arms and say, come on down and have fun with us, you know? And it's amazing what it does in the mindset of people. And sooner or later, they're going to remember you. And that may be the only reason they hire you, because you are associated with fun and friskiness and being professional and including them in. That's important. Okay, so fundraisers are awesome. Everybody gets asked for donations, from the food bank to cancer to the kids' soccer team, whatever it is. They're a great way to bring educational value to help a charity or a nonprofit group. Really broad range topics that appeal to a larger group are going to probably include social media and staging and health topics, credit topics, investor topics. Any topic that would serve a general group of consumers would be just fine. If there is an existing event, then you could just be the keynote speaker, or you could be supplying one, and the group can sell tickets to get extra money in for that keynote or that workshop. And you may have to suggest this to them, because they might not be thinking about all the ways that they can pull this off. Even a church, like I mentioned before about the roof, is trying to save for that roof, and that would be a tremendous benefit. And guess what they have? They have a list of people with contact information, so they can help advertise. So when you're looking to do this stuff, make sure it's not just about you inviting people. It's about them pulling the whole thing together with their own database. So make sure you have an agreement. Don't do anything for anybody unless you have an agreement in writing. You want to make sure you include where the event's going to be, the times of the event, what AV equipment is going to be provided, who's going to do what, how the money's going to be distributed, collected, who's going to handle registration, where is the money going, what percentage of money is going. If it's just a percentage, never, ever do an event without a comprehensive agreement, because I promise you, even with an agreement, there's going to be misunderstandings, and it will ruin the whole event. So make sure you do that. All right, you won't believe how broad and wide opportunities are for topic requested events. You put some seeds in with people like, public schools, 55 and up community, investor groups. You won't believe how many requested events you get. They're desperately looking for events, and you can supply them and be their go-to person. I've just provided a short list, but there's literally tons. You just have to understand that real estate topics are not the focus for you. You are building relationships, and the expertise you provide is what helps them remember you as a real estate agent. So many real estate agents have former lives with oodles of experience in topics they can teach. If not, then experts like a CPA, an estate attorney, alternative health instructors, or even a workshop on retirement planning is literally perfect. I once hosted a dinner at a country club for investors. The speaker was a CPA attorney. He was a tax attorney that was actually an expert in representing the owner of a property, those investors. It was packed. I had a waiting list as long as I had an attendee list. It was awesome. So to do those things, and by the way, I got sponsors to help me pay for it. Plus, I charged the investors a fee to get in. It was a dinner event, and it was packed. See, it's about the value. It's never about the money. So keep that in mind. You don't want to be needy. If you're needy, you're always going to be needy to them, and they're just not going to be impressed. Webinars are another fabulous way to get in touch with your database. And really anyone you can actually invite. I would recommend you have a camera on your desktop, laptop, because it's going to be an easier screen. The laptop usually has a built-in camera, but I always find it skews it. I think that having, cameras, I have a Logitech sitting at the top. Now, I'm not doing it for coaching calls, but I'll use it for other things. And I have it at the top, and then I position it. And it's really a good quality, and it's USB connected. It's really a no-brainer. So I would recommend that you try to use that in your presentations, and you can either use it for completely recording while you're talking, or you can even set it up where it's just an image, a little box in the corner of your screen, especially if you're using Zoom. A name with instruction and an image all pulls together the trust to build that relationship. So you want to keep that in mind. That's another reason why you want to have a little picture of yourself over to the upper right of the screen, because they put it all together. Now I've supplied a minimum list, previously. So, but don't scrimp. Use I've used the minimum list of ideas, but I also have a minimum list of the things that you might need right here under webinars. So, don't scrimp. Everything now is so unbelievably inexpensive. Anything you get from Logitech, I'm not an expert on all this, but I tend to use Logitech because I have the most reliability with it. I get it on Amazon for like less than $24 for my headset that has noise reduction and USB connection. I forget what I paid for the webcam, but they're just not that expensive. Now, Zoom offers a free membership where you can actually do your webinars, get the recording, and have, I don't remember how many, I pay for mine now because we needed an upgrade, but like 50 people on. I mean, that's more than enough. And they call it a meeting, not a webinar, so don't let that confuse you. It confused the dickens out of me when I first saw it. So, and you can record them, put them on your website, replay them, put them on your social media. Make sure you have a YouTube channel. You're not going to want to leave them in a place like Zoom because they charge you a ridiculous amount of money for storage. What you want to do is have a YouTube channel, and you download the video and then you put it there. That's the best way. Then people can replay it, and you can use the link wherever you put it. So you're not using storage all over the place to tie up these recordings. All right, so now moving along. So regardless of the event or the type of event, be sure to invite everyone. I know I've said this at least 10 times. I see so many agents henpecking their list. Don't do it. I don't even care if they're in California and you're in Virginia. I don't care. Invite them all. It's about you including them in, and it's a way that it makes them feel. So that's why you want to do that. Be sure to run ads using social media. Facebook events are one of my favorites. I always see a pretty good click rate from there to my events, and I set up analytics so I know. Craigslist is still great. People still look at it, and it is very effective. I'm sure you know many other things, but something you may not know is if you're having a nonprofit event where there's no money being made, and charities don't count. Charities are a good cause. All the local radio stations have an event portal. So you can go into their online website and you can click on events usually, and you go in and you can actually put in your nonprofit event and they will advertise it for free. So keep that in mind. It cannot be a profit event. So in other words, you can't get up there and say, I'm Susie, real estate agent. Call me up and utilize me. It's got to really be for a charity or an organization or something that is really a nonprofit situation. Also, when you're inviting an organization, a charity, or a sponsor, it's really gonna, I can't emphasize this enough, it's gonna maximize your attendance results because you're gonna ask them to advertise too. That's a requirement that they advertise. Again, Eventbrite is an awfully good system to use. And they may even have a free portal, but it's just very low cost to use that. It's just a really consumer-friendly kind of site. And that way your attendees can register, they can ask questions, and they will get reminders from you because you can set them up in there. And that's going to increase your attendance conversion rate. So for all events, several reminders to registrants are critical if you want anyone to show up. But if your event is free, it's critical to remind them like every other day. Believe me, they're not going to remember. They're busy. It's also a good idea to charge a nominal fee, even if it's $5. Believe it or not, that makes all the difference in the world in them remembering your event. All right. So all events require a follow-up email thanking, this is after the event, thanking the participants for being in attendance, as well as asking for their feedback. Now, each attendee needs to be added to your database with as much contact information as possible, and you can set that up in Eventbrite. Just don't make it too ridiculous because they may not be willing to fill it out. Maybe make some things voluntary and some things mandatory. So you or someone with you will take video and photos at the event to post on things like social media, your website, and any other place you want to showcase the event. All events should result in a feedback sheet. Some people call it a survey sheet. In order to get comments from the attendees, do not do an event without it. There should be some boxes they can check with like a fair to excellent rating, as well as a space for comments. There should also be a place for them to put their name and contact information again. Also, you must have, no exception, have a disclaimer at the bottom that information will not be sold, that you can utilize anything they put on this form for your own promotion, including video, photos, comments, and testimonials. So you want a broad statement that says whatever they have there you can use, but you also want to say that anything that came out of the event you can use. And that will be a nice blanketed statement for you. Don't take your team for granted. Treasure them. A good team is going to help you grow. Make no mistake, be loyal to them. Find the people you can be loyal to that are part of your culture, and you will find that they will help you tremendously. All right, so whether you are currently in coaching or whether you are on the webinar visiting us for the first time, we are announcing our new 2020 Real Estate Career Success Laser Coaching Program. The annual investment is $19.97. It is unbelievable. It is unlimited monthly 15-minute one-point calls. You get an initial setup call for your master plan and how to use our goal sheet with some strategies so you can get going. Also, our Agent Education Center, which has hundreds of hours of training. It is unheard of at this price, and we are currently offering to the first 10 people a discount of $1,000. So they will be paying $997 for a 12-month program. That's like $83.08 each. So it's an incredible opportunity. You just need to email me if you're interested at cindybishopcoaching@gmail.com, or you can go to one of the sites listed here. If you want to find out more, there's more details than what I just said. You can watch the video at cindybishoptraining.com and then go to the coaching page. You can read more there as well, and you can also map out your design to get signed up by just contacting us. Again, we're only going to offer this for a limited amount of time, so you want to take advantage of it. It is an amazing deal. Current coaching members would transition. They would be excused from their existing program, and they would start this program as of January 1st. Here's our coaches. We all contribute training to our Agent Education Center, and these are also the 3 people that do the coaching calls like I'm doing one right now. This is our contact information for social media, and there's our sites. Again, I am sorry that I did a typo on our websites, but our school site is cindybishop worldwide.com. So make sure you make that correction. Most people know it before you try to use it. And our coaching site is cindybishoptraining.com. I highly recommend you use that site. The coaching site is awesome. We have free video training. We have a tremendously rich skill building blog that is free, and you really should take advantage of that. We also have published books there and some online training. So with no further ado, I hope you enjoyed the event coaching call today, and we'll look forward to seeing you at a later time. Have a super, super day.